We're joined today by Sting. Congratulations on 57th and 9th. It's
Thank you.
Really a great piece of work.
Thank you. It's doing well, and I'm very happy with it. We're touring the entire world, and in Europe, Japan, the Far East. But here we are.
And small theaters.
It's much better to introduce new material in a smaller, intimate setting than in an arena or much worse, a stadium. So we've been going back to places I may have played in 1979 or 80, which for me is a wonderful thing to do because my memories of those gigs, of those clubs and theaters is much more vivid than, say, an arena, which all the arenas look exactly the same. So you don't register where you are. But playing in these smaller places and this wonderful theatre here, it's fantastic. So people are enjoying the new material, and then I give them, some old hits, something that they know. But it's a very, very intimate and, it's close.
Yeah, I'm a real fan of the creative process. And yours was to go in with nothing this time.
Well, there are no rules about how you capture that very mysterious and ephemeral thing called creativity. It's a very, very tricky animal. And so if you're hunting, you need to change your method sometimes, change your point of view, change the angle that you're shooting from. And so this time I did something completely new to me. Normally I'm very well prepared. I've written the songs, I know what they're going to sound like, I know the arrangements. I went in and with my guys, I said, guys, I got a confession to make. I don't have a damn thing, but I have a time frame. And I want to start today, and by this date, I want to be finished and mixed, and by this date, I want something on the street. So they said, okay. And so we started jamming together and just creating this thing spontaneously. And lo and behold, something miraculously, materialized in front of us, and then we worked on it. And within the time scale, even less actually, we had a finished product, which is called 57th and 9th, and people are happy with it. So will I use the same method again? I don't know, but it worked this time.
57th and 9th is a really busy intersection, and it was a stop off along the way as you continued to work on the songs as you were walking home. But I think my favorite part of that story is you going out on a freezing terrace. I'm sure that the view is very nice, but it's like really cold, and telling yourself you couldn't come back in until you'd finished the lyrics.
Yeah, that was another one of my little tricks on myself to try and just stimulate writing yourself out of a problem or a situation. So I locked myself out of the house, and I had a cup of coffee, I'll give you that. But it was freezing, it was below zero, the wind was blowing, and funnily enough, the first song on the record is all about feeling cold and searching for inspiration, which is, I can't stop thinking about you.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a person, not the muse, right?
Oh, I was looking for the muse, but freezing my arse off, and so that's what, there's a lot of cold imagery in that song.
Yeah, when I went back and read the lyrics, it made perfect sense. One of the things that I absolutely love about you is that we live in a world where everything is so fragmented that people are afraid to lose audience. And so everybody tries to look for something that is exactly like the last thing that they had success with. And along the way, what we've given up is surprise. And if I had to link you to one genre, I'd say throw out all of the normal genres and just call surprise a genre.
Yeah, that is, for me, my philosophy is the most important element in any music is surprise. Whenever I listen to music, I want to be surprised. Whenever I create music, I want to lay a surprise within the first few bars. It's all about surprise. Without surprise, it's just, you might as well just switch off. So I'd like to surprise myself. I like to surprise the audience. I want to give them value, but I also don't want them to have preconceived ideas about what the next thing will be, because I haven't a clue. I really don't.
The album, you've always had a distinct social consciousness to you, and the new record, One Fine Day, about climate deniers.
Well, I'm not thumping a soapbox here. Everybody knows my position. I've been,
And if they don't, we could guess it.
I've been, I would say, beating the drum for 30 years about climate change, about the burning of forests and whatever. So I don't think I need to do that anymore. This song is much more ironic about the denial of climate change or the idea that it's a hoax. I wish it was. I really would love to be wrong about this. I'd love to live in that world. Unfortunately, all the scientific evidence is telling us that yes, it's happening, and we are certainly a part of that. So we need to adjust the way we live. All of us are guilty. I flew in on a plane today. I came in a car. I'm not innocent at all, but all of us have to take responsibility. But mainly, the big oil. They have to stop prevaricating because it's real.
Yeah. New beautiful song on the record, and if I pronounce this wrong, I trust you to correct me. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Arabic.
It's a beautiful Arabic word which means if it's God's will, then so it be. And it's really written about the Syrian refugee crisis, which has affected Europe, obviously more than it's affected America. Just thought about putting myself on one of those boats with those people, going from their country to try and find refuge with their family, with their wives in Europe, on these little rubber dinghies, often which sink and they lose family members. So it's just an exercise in empathy. I don't have a political solution to this problem, I really don't. I know it will carry on as long as there's warfare in that region. And they're running away from weapons that are made in Britain, France, Germany, the United States, Russia. They didn't make any of these weapons at all. I'm a pacifist. So until the war stops, this situation will keep happening. And frankly, building walls isn't going to work, really. So we need first of all to be empathetic, and then.
Most of the record recorded in New York, but for the deluxe version, you went to Berlin and did a second version of the song with musicians from Syria.
I went to Berlin. I found these guys who were refugees, and then they found asylum in Berlin. They were all from Aleppo. Aleppo was the musical center of Arab music. It was like the Nashville of the Arab music world. So you'd go there to learn to sing, to learn classical instruments. So all these guys were highly trained musicians, and they came to Germany and found somewhere safe. And so I wanted to hear their stories. I wanted them to talk to me about how they escaped and what they were doing now and how they felt.
You mentioned your family in a boat, and you have to be so tremendously proud of all of your family. Joe, you're touring with him, and Elliot, who just had a bunch of recent success. We had an in-studio with her.
Oh, you did?
At the station, and she was absolutely lovely.
She's fab.
The music was just spectacular, too.
My kid, two of them are musicians, two are actors, one's a filmmaker, and the youngest one wants to be a cop. But they're all wonderful kids, and I'm probably more proud of my kids than anything else. In fact, I am more proud of my kids than anything else. They're all great.
I think when a famous person's offspring comes to us with a record, it actually kind of works against them.
It does.
And so it's a really hard thing to get us to play the record. And we loved that record and put it right in. She came in and did the in-studio, and we wanted to make sure that we respected her as the artist. So you didn't come up. We didn't bring you up in the interview, but she did tell a story that when she was a child, she took horseback riding lessons. And to this day, she doesn't know if you all were aware that it was really stunt horse riding lessons, and that she was standing on the back of a riding horse.
I knew that, but I couldn't watch.
Yeah. Well, she loved it.
She's a wild one.
Yeah.
Elliot's a wild one.
Well, she brought fire to the music, and it was really great. You should be very, very proud.
Extremely.
I'd love to talk more about the record. I know you're on a really tight schedule. Let's just end really quickly with the fact that you're up for an Academy Award on The Empty Chair, which is one of the tracks on 57th and 9th. And this is a song that you didn't think that you could write.
It's true. It's about Jim Foley, who was the young American photojournalist who was murdered very publicly by ISIS in 2014 in northern Syria. And I watched this video, this movie, this documentary. I was devastated by it. But you realize that this guy is a true hero. And at a time when journalism is under attack, when the truth itself is under attack, to see this young man putting his life on the line to tell the truth is very inspiring. And as many people as possible, I try and encourage to see it, because as an American, it would make you proud. This man was an extraordinary being. And I'm glad that we're nominated. We're way outsiders. You know?
La La Land is a very big rock rolling down a very steep hill.
That's huge, and I have a huge campaign, and they're huge, corporations behind them. But we're there, and it's an opportunity to talk about the film, to talk about Jim. So I'm very happy to perform it week on Sunday, and I'll do it tonight.
You know, it's just had to be really an incredibly hard thing to perform that song for his family at Sundance.
It's true. It was hard to write. You know, how do you write something that matches the emotion that you feel when you watch the film? And at first I said, no, I can't do it. Until I went home that night. It was Thanksgiving, and I explained it to Trudy, my wife, and a couple of my kids were around the table. And then I thought, how would I feel if one of my kids was in captivity? If ISIS had one of my family, what would I do? I'd probably create some sort of ritual for them, like leave an empty space at the table, leave a place setting, so that they would one day come back and refill it. And once that idea occurred to me, I realized, that's the metaphor that I can write the song. So then I could write the song. But without the metaphor, there was no way I could do it.
Sting is our guest. You can find out more at sting.com. The new album is 57th and 9th. It's another great piece of work, timeless songs. It's available in 3 different formats, a couple of different deluxe packages. Sting, I cannot tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, sir.